Hi, this is Vaishali, and I am your storyteller for today. I'm going to tell you a lovely story, and this is a folk tale from South America, and the name is The Blue Parrot. Give me oil in my lamp, keep me burning. Give me oil in my lamp, I pray. Give me oil in my lamp, keep me burning. Keep me burning till the end of day. So, there was a lush, green, beautiful forest. And in that forest lived all the lovely wild animals that you could possibly imagine. The lions, the tigers, the jaguars, the leopards, the peacocks and the ducks, the flowers, the beautiful butterflies. Everyone existed in this lush, green, beautiful forest in perfect harmony. One day, without any warning, suddenly thunder struck and a flash, a spark of lightning happened, and due to this spark, a dead tree burst open and there was a spark. And the gushing wind made that spark come alive and the tree set on fire. Now, from one branch to the other, and to the other, and to the other, the flames went ablaze, and it rose higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. One after the other, the trees caught fire, and in no time, the entire forest was engulfed in flames. Now, this little blue parrot could smell the smoke and she immediately flew. After all, she was a bird and she flew up high and she saw that, there's smoke and there's fire everywhere. And she cried out to all her friends. She signaled them, "Run, run, run to the nearest river, save yourselves." And all the animals started running helter-skelter, came out of their homes, took care of their babies. And there was so much confusion everywhere because everybody wanted to escape. Now, as this bird was flying up in the sky, she could see from there that the entire forest now was engulfed in those flames because thick, flames were coming from everywhere and the fire was just spreading across. And she realized that all her friends are trapped in that forest, in the fire. And at this time, it occurred to her a plan, a desperate plan to save her friends. And she flew quickly to the nearest river, dipped her wings, her right wing and her left wing and her belly, and scooped a little water in her beak and flew back. And she flew back and she flapped her wings. She flapped her wings and little trickles of water fell on the fire and it went. She went back again, dipped her right wing and her left wing and her belly and scooped water in her beak and flew back to the heart of the fire where the fire was, rising higher. And once again, she fluttered her wings and little trickles of water fell and so you see, she was trying to put out the fire with those little trickles of water which she carried in her wings and her beak. Was that enough? Of course not. But she went back and forth and back and forth and doing this continuously because all she had in mind was to save her friends and she was desperate. Somehow she wanted to put out that fire and that was all she could do. And in this act, by now her eyes were sore, her wings were getting burned, they were charred, her feet were scorched and her claws, even got cracked. She continued doing this. And up above in the sky, above the clouds, there's a heavenly abode, a magnificent castle where angels and gods live. And they all watched, from there. They could see because the smoke was curling up higher and higher and higher. And some of them laughed. And they thought, oh, what a silly bird. What is she trying to do? Does she think she's going to put out the forest fire with those little trickles of water? And there was one god amongst them. One god who turned himself into an eagle and flew down to that forest and just hovering near the blue bird as she went back and forth and back and forth doing her task, he told her, "You silly bird, what do you think are you doing?" And she looked at him and she said, "Oh, I want to save my friends. They are all getting burnt. They are all going to die." And he told her, "Don't be silly. Fly away higher because you have wings." This little bird, she continued, though she was in pain, and she just looked at him and said, because her wings, her lungs were all filled with smoke and her wings were getting burned and her eyes were all sore and red. But she told him that, "I don't need advice. All I need is help. And if you could help me, please do so, else leave me alone." And she went back and forth and back, through that maze of the fire, the flames. She would escape somehow, get into that place and trickle the droplets of water, and she just would keep on doing that. Looking at this now, by now, the eagle was overwhelmed and moved by the act of the blue bird. And a few drops of tears trickled down the eyes of the eagle. But they were no ordinary tears like yours or mine, you see. They were the tears from God's own eyes. And as these tears fell down, and as they came down, they turned and took the form of rain. Showers of rain fell on the forest, on those flames, on the fire, on the entire forest and the animals. And the fire was coming to an end. And it continued, in form of heavy rain downpour, which fell from the eyes of the eagle. The tears were nothing but torrential, heavy rain that helped to calm down that fire. And as the drops fell on the forest, on the flames, the animals returned, started walking back to their homes, and they were surprised and astonished to see that every everywhere that the grass was scorched or burned with those drops of water had now started to turn green. And new leaves and new shoots were coming out of the trees. And the flowers were breaking up and blossoming back to their normal self. And the entire forest was back like what it was, lush green. And because those teardrops which fell in the form of rain had also fallen on the blue parrot, who was brave enough and looked something like this, was transformed miraculously to a colorful parrot. Yes, the wings started growing new feathers which were not just blue, but they turned red and green and pink and yellow. And miraculously, this blue parrot was transformed into a colorful, beautiful parrot. So you see, from fear, they all went to hope and peace. And it was this little blue parrot who had the determination and the strength and the bravery and the conviction to do its own little task, to do what he or she could do to make things all right. And that is the story of this little blue bird. When your intent is right, when you have good intention, everything in the environment, turns up to help you, and something good always comes out of it. So this was the story of the blue parrot, which is a folk tale from South America. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you.